Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Comics Dello Morte, the show where we talk about horror comics. And this is your host, Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Owl Comics. My co-host, Jason Alexander, Fogbreaker Studios. He'll be in a little bit. He got caught up, but let's just see what we got going on the chats. Frank, thank you for always coming by, being first. No, ain't got nothing for you, but thank you anyway for coming by. And got my bro, Sons Dan. I have risen, ready to watch my favorite human show. YouTube show. Thank you for inviting me. Keep up the awesome work, guys. And Frank Sharon on Twitter. Thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome stuff. Whatever you could do to help share our work, greatly appreciate it. And yes, I have read it, Frank. It is a great book. Shout out to Frank's Instagram. He does some really great stuff for comic books as well. So, issue 3 of Young and the Dead. This has to be one of my favorite issues so far. And when Jason comes back, Fogbreaker Studios, he's going to say the same thing, because this book gets into like the origin on how these zombies came into effect. And just, I want to share the first panel of the page because it's just so good in an 80s reference style. Let me get to it. Here we go. Right here. Now, this page right here, I really like, because in the beginning, it's the zombie like ripping through the door, trying to get to whoever's inside. But does anyone know the song that's playing? Who can it be knocking at my door, making no sound, tiptoe across the floor? If he hears, he'll knock all day. I'll be trapped here. I'll have to stay. Who can it be now? Who sung that song? Does anyone know? It is by no other than the Men at Work. And I just really like that, is that he literally took the time to put like an 80s song reference in. And that's what you got to do sometimes to get that 80s reference, is just put things in there, because it's a period piece. So, you got to, like, when you're referencing any type of like time period, you have to do your research as a comic book artist. Like, okay, if I'm going to be writing for like the 60s, what songs, what type of style did they dress in and everything? And it was just a really nice touch. So from there on, we pretty much had the sister that was in the first issue. She was locked up, the stepsister. She was locked in her room and just trying to like hide away from the zombie apocalypse, which I don't know why she couldn't escape earlier, because if you're in a zombie apocalypse, being in your room is not going to last long enough, because you're going to have no food and no supplies to get out. And then who's breaking in? No other than her father. And at this point, he's breaking in, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna stop my father, even though he's a zombie. And she stops him by smashing his head in with the radio. And what I really like here, if you could see, is just the gore with these 4 panels. And just, even though it's not like a super gory book like a Uzumaki, and this is like for ages 13, it still has like that gore factor and that horror factor that I really like, and that why we wanted to review it on our show. And it was just really cool that after he got knocked out, you could kind of indicate that when he got hit over the head, he was like transforming back into his original form. But then all of a sudden, something was just clicking through and he started deforming again back into a zombie. So it's like, what's going on there? You know? And then next, we just got like the kids that were in this tree house. They're zipping through, and now they're just trying to figure out, we got to get out of here. We're not going to last for long if we're in this tree house. And it's just really cool to see like this long, like panel shot of just basically the kids doing different things. You have the pop the bam with the onomatopoeia sounds, and just really cool page and a lot of detail there, and just a lot of great facial expressions to really show what's going on. And one of my other things I really like here is now you got a Firebird Trans Am. And another funny 80s reference is where he's talking about the father's car. Is this your car? My dad's. I always pictured him as Smokey, but maybe he's more like the Bandit. And we all know it's about Smokey and the Bandit, the movie. So yeah, it's just really funny to get more 80s reference in there. And and for Scott to draw the Trans Am like that, that's just a really beautiful design of a car. And it's one of those things, as an artist, not a lot of artists could draw people and could draw vehicles as well as good. Because that's the thing that you got to really train to do as an artist, is just pretty much learn how to draw everything, even if it's the buildings, if it's people. Take the time to learn how to do stuff, even especially if you're going to do a comic book, because with the comic book, you have to do your references. You have to do what you need to do, because you can't just have bobbling heads, and you can't just have half body shots and never show your environment, because you need to tell people what's going on. Love the car. Frank here, the regeneration of zombies is a really good take. It reminds me of the Return of the Living Dead. A torso zombie tells the people that that being dead hurts. Eating brains takes the pain away. I know that movie, Frank, where they're like talking and everything. Yeah. And the guys are like literally in pain, and they're like, the rigor mortis is setting in. Yeah, good movie. Yeah. So, really like, the setup of the book so far, just really showing, where everybody is at this point, what happened to the sister, because with the second issue, we didn't see what happened to the older the older stepsister. So we could have indicated that, she could have got infected just like everyone else, because we don't know what age she is. We don't know if she's a teenager or she's like close to being an adult, because it seems like at this point that only adults are being affected by the zombie disease, and kids aren't turning into zombies. So with the next page that we got going on is that now with the kids in the garage, they're pretty much just indicating, we had to find a place of, safe haven. And they're like, okay, we need to go to this arcade, because most kids think that, hey, arcade is a fun place. It has a lot of food there probably, and there's a guy there that they could talk to that could help them with computer stuff, because there's a computer whiz that the Lloyd knows, I believe the kid with the hammer. So yeah, at this point, you really got like, let me share this screen. Yeah, this one right here, I just really like, for another panel shot is that you literally have these kids going like doing a almost a Home Alone effect where they got like the model rocket, they're taking everything apart, they're literally attaching like a blowtorch and a spray can, anything they could think of to really like make weapons out of. And it's just a really cool page layout and just really great shots because you have like the close up of the hands, and then you just have the different other layouts of like the close up of the friend's head here wearing the helmet, but before he had the helmet up. So yeah, just really cool because it shows like the action and like the progression of them getting everything together without having to do a lot of panel shots or having a lot of dialogue, showing you that this is probably taking a long time in the garage preparing all these weapons together. So now you got this panel shot here, just, you know, them all souped up. You got this one here with the helmet and the wooden sword, just a lot of fun stuff here. And it's just really cool because it's literally like these kids are like, you know, we're in a zombie apocalypse, but we're not going to let this stuff help take us down. So, you know, it's one of those things that like, it's even awesome because just on Instagram, I seen that they had the Monster Squad anniversary, and this just goes back to like the Monster Squad movie where you have a bunch of teenagers, kids getting together to take on, you know, the Universal monsters, and it's just really cool to see all these 80s references. And now at this point, you literally have the zombies getting run over, and you have the kids like literally fighting their way out against the other zombies. And now we're here at this car part where we're back at where the father was, and he's still locked up within the police car. And you know, the cops have become zombies at this point, and we're really wondering what's going to happen with the father. And you know, there's one of the cops, and he knows that, oh, okay, I'm screwed. But then all of a sudden, out from nowhere, one of the other cops, the other cop that didn't turn into a zombie, he recognized what was going on, knocked him out, and pretty much helped him at this point. But yet he wants to know what's going on, which anyone wants to know what's going on, because it's like, hey, this isn't normal, and you seem shocked, but you weren't that shocked about it. So what's up? So of course, you know, anything. Oh, snap. Yeah, imagine being pulled over by zombie cops. 80s montage. Yep. So yeah, just really good stuff so far. And you know, like I said, Fogbreaker will be in soon, so I don't want to talk too much about like everything, but man, it's just great. Kurt Reynolds. Yeah. Burt Reynolds. Yeah. Yep. Burt Reynolds. He did what was it? The Smokey and the Bandit. Yep. But yeah, so now at this point, when the other cop helps the father out of the car to get back to his son, now the kids are at the arcade, and they're pretty much telling them like, bogus, we're too late. Not necessarily talking about like there's a second floor going on, there's a second floor where we could get to the second floor and talk to this guy that could help us out to figure out, you know, this information on how and what caused this zombie apocalypse and how this kid's father is involved. Because remember, with the first issue, the man the man who worked with the father hung himself, and it's like, hey, we need to get this information and find out what's going on, because he's like, get this information to your father because it's critical. And the guy got bit, and even with the beginning of this book, you could tell, even though he hung himself, that he still turned into a zombie after all. So at this point now, the kids are trying to get into the arcade, and this is when they actually start doing the fighting, and you see like the flesh and the gore really happening. Let me bring it up. Right here. Like, this isn't too grotesque and too gory, but just seeing the girl take like the racket stick and seeing like the flesh and the teeth flying, just really nice work there, Scott. Just really great. Okay, you're back. Yay.
What's happening? Right. Where did I miss? Where are we at?
We're at the gore part.
Excellent.
All right. And everybody, my co-host, Frogbreaker Studios, Jason Alexander.
What's up, y'all? What's up? What's going
on? And I hope I wasn't bumbling enough people, so sorry about that. This is why I have my co-host, because he's a great guy and he helps me to talk off of stuff.
All right. So before you go much further than that, I do have to mention how awesome it is to have the Men at Work song to set the mood for this chapter. Yeah. Because I'll just real quick, and then you can just kind of pick up where you were. But I just had something I wanted to say is, as a writer, I always enjoy what I write. But sometimes when you look back at it, you're like, okay, this is where I was in my shit. Like, and in this chapter, like, this is when Scott was in his shit. Like,
oh yeah,
this is like 80s everything. Like, even from like, how many 80s shows and movies were there where people got hit in the head and it made them get amnesia, and then it made them come back from amnesia. And you kind of see that a little bit in these first few pages, because you see for a split second this guy turns from a zombie into a person and he's almost normal.
Yeah.
And the art is banging. Like, the art is money.
Yeah, you definitely with my 80s horror comic, like, there's at one point I want my horror comic villain to like have like a piano guitar and sing like Sweet Dreams Are Made of These while he's trying to kill people. That'd be a great reference right there.
Yep. That's great.
But yeah, so what do you want to talk about with this panel or this page right here? Just how the gore is.
It's money. Like, it's got speed. It's got everything. You know where to linger on the page. You see how like these kids have like fashioned these weapons that just work, and they
like
even
Home Alone. Yeah,
I was gonna say they even work as a team together. Like, they've cobbled together these weapons, and they've cobbled together this team, and like they're getting it done. Like, they're doing it. So no, I love this one. Like, this one was a blast.
And I love this right here. Like, even the little brother, like the older brother is grabbed, and then the little brother's like, "Let my brother go," and he hits him with his stuffed animal. Like, it's like the little brother. It's like the little brother is like the youngest out of the group, and you would think he would be afraid, but he's like, "No, I got bigger balls than everyone else."
Yeah, he didn't care what he had in his hand. He was going to defend his brother.
Exactly. And just, you have all this dialogue here. It's like Scott said in the comments, is like, just, it is very longer, but it just has so much detail, and it's just a really great story. And now we're in the arcade, and we meet David, the guy who people wanted to basically get the information to, because he's like, okay, this guy could decode stuff and could help us find out what's on this disc. And if anyone could help us, maybe Frank could know, because I'm trying to remember what this game is right here. I played that game on Atari. Like I can't remember. Is it Galaga?
It's not. No, it's not Galaga. Is it Asteroid? It's not Asteroid.
No.
It looks like this. There was a Star Wars game that looked like that.
Yeah. But you got David here, and just I kid you not, who like David reminds me of the comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yes, like 100%.
Yeah, it's like Batman issue number 1.
Worst episode ever.
Worst episode ever.
Awesome. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like, this is like this book, this chapter could have been inside of an album cover. Like this a cool little read inside of an album cover, and it's 80s through and through. Like it could have easily like I would have rented this movie as a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this chapter in particular is this is the gem. Like this is the gem of the book. It is.
Yeah. And just all these, like this nice panel shot of the arcade here, just with the zombies rolling around, and you got holy cheese whiz. It's like, it's like the 80s talk. And just as a writer, you want to make dialogue where you think that this is the way the person is going to sound. Like,
you can hear the voices of the kids, you hear the voices of this guy.
Yeah, it's like it's like this guy's like, this guy's like a video game junkie. He pretty much works and lives in the arcade, and he's like, you got the other guy, Lloyd, the nerd. He's like, he'll probably be like, David, and he's like, do not disturb, man, I'm about to beat the high score. Stuff like that.
It's great. Like, it's 80s, like even like going into how they assemble their team, and like the Smokey and the Bandits references, man. Like, I know you probably talked about all this, but man,
go ahead, talk what you want about.
No, it's just like them like cobbling
Space
their
Invaders
weapons together.
I think it is Space Invaders.
That could be it. Like them cobbling torches and like making all their stuff. You got the remote control car with the dynamite and the Herbie stripe on it. What's up, Rick? And look, and you can even see in this one picture that the teddy bear has some weight in it. Like he's cutting the teddy bear open and putting weight in the teddy bear. Wow,
it does.
I hope Scott gets a commission for that.
When you think about it, it has the kids have an Atari shirt. So But yeah, really great stuff. Just like I was telling them, like we were talking about before, like this is so far like our favorite issue, like just by reading it. And you want to talk about when they start getting like the information on what's on the disc.
I love the floppy disk, man. Like, I just like everything looks like the 80s.
Do you want to talk about the Lazarus Project? I'll let you talk about that because I've been talking long enough.
Okay, let me get my bearings here. I just gotta make sure I can find everything. Okay, so basically the Lazarus Project is exactly like what it sounds like. They're trying to regenerate the classic formula. They're trying to make people be able to regenerate and heal faster. And of course, this is something that can't really happen because it becomes too good at what it does, which is what happens here. So they say that it's the silver bullet of medical science. It could treat all these different brain diseases, anything, including cancer. But they try to give it to Molly the monkey, and Molly goes wild, and because why not? You know what I mean? Like, this is what you get. So, they want to basically, this doctor has performed all of this video and it's documenting to say, no more. We're not doing this anymore. And of course, it finds itself into the hands of the wrong people and calamity ensues.
Yeah, you want to show like the monkey in that page?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just another, like, the artwork in this book is so on point.
Yeah. And that's what I really like about that story is that, of course, the Lazarus, because the fact is that, this guy, this scientist wants to try to create something that could literally heal sickness, heal disease, and regrow limbs. And the fact is that it became successful. But the point is that while doing it, it turned them into zombies. So that's why all of a sudden you saw the father when the father got hit over the head by his daughter with the radio, for a split second, you could see him back to normal as his normal self. But then all of a sudden he turned back into a zombie, because literally that's the side effect, is that, he was healed. He was automatically healed of his wounds by getting hit over the head, but then he turned right back into a zombie. So it's like, with every yin, there's a yang. So, and it would just be great to see at this point, like, how they're going to really, in the further issues, how they're really going to find a cure.
Right. Yeah. What does it look like? Because you can see, like, a smash to the head can, like, bring somebody back.
Yeah.
Shortly.
Kind of almost like the Indiana Jones reference, why you used fire to bring the person back to life, or back to conscious, when they were, like, hypnotized by the person in the second Indiana Jones movie, the Temple of Doom.
Oh,
so yeah,
the Temple of
yeah.
I have such mixed feelings about that movie. We won't get into that's another story. But I don't know. But no, this, what happens next? Like, it's perfect 80s speed. Okay, like now it's like, not only do we know how all the players on the board move, we know that there is an X factor, even with the zombies. Like, right on the verge of, like, total gore and Walking Dead, like, there's this huge opportunity that these people can be turned back to normal, because even though their flesh is all drippy it should be, you're right. Yep.
I agree.
Like, even when their flesh is all drippy, like, when they take that hit, they become humans again. It's almost like it's just like this surface thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and now it's like the plot thickens because they will eat kids now. So, somebody's coming up the escalator at the end of it. So it's like, who is this? What do they know? What's happening with Sam's dad? Because now he's out of the police car.
Yeah.
It's just robust, man. I guess that's a good word for this chapter. Robust. I loved it. Like, definitely my favorite chapter of the book. I can probably even include chapter 4 in that. Like I was saying before, without even sinking my teeth into chapter 4, I know that this chapter is a hit.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So,
is there anything else you want to talk about, like art-wise, or any other panels?
Oh, the art is so clean. Yeah, my favorite panel is at the beginning of the book. You probably already went through it.
Oh, it's fine. Like,
it's just the first page. The first page is, like, my favorite, because I like to use music in my stories. Like, even if it's like, I just what I listen to kind of sets the mood for what I write. And it's so cool when you have, like, this Men at Work song is a great song for a zombie apocalypse. Like, the tone of the song is good. This is just a solid page. Like, I'll show the page. I try to avoid showing as much as I can, because I want y'all to get the book. But, like, this is like,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot going on for no characters in 3 panels.
Mm-hmm.
But it works because they're all your characters on the other side of the door. So no, that's pretty much where I am. I think we're about the same for ratings on that.
Yeah.
I really do. I'll let you say yours first so it doesn't sound like I steal your answer.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm at an 8. I'm at an 8 out of 10. I bet for the 4 chapters of the book, I would give this chapter a 10 out of 10 because I do believe that this is the gateway chapter. Like if you hadn't read this book before, if you picked up and just read this issue, this would make you go back and read the first 2 and want to read the last chapter.
So you give this a what?
I give it an 8. 8 out of 10.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the 9. For the fact is that instead of an 8, like with the other 2, and with a 9, a little bit higher with this one, is that I like the progression of this, where you literally see the kids actually coming with a plan. You see what happened to the stepsister, and now you actually have a reason on why these zombies came into effect. And it's pretty much like the zombies' origin story. Yeah. And it's not like, okay, there was just a chemical explosion and there's just coming up out of the ground like a typical every zombie movie. No, these are like, this is like something like this guy was trying to cure cancer and other diseases, and it became successful, but there's a side effect. Yeah. And the side effect is huge.
Right. It's kind of like Planet of the Apes, the newer Planet of the Apes, because that was what it was, is they had found this miracle drug that worked so well that they tested on all these monkeys that worked so well for Alzheimer's patients. And it worked great for a long time because it made like Caesar so smart, and it gave all these other monkeys, like, not every monkey got these abilities, but some of the monkeys got these abilities. But then it went too far, and then it became like this super virus to humans.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it made sense in that movie. Like it made that a real world thing. This makes it a real world thing where you have these scientists that are trying to do something from a noble standpoint, and it takes on a life of its own. It's just, it's Skynet becoming self-aware in the Terminator movies.
Exactly. So you want to tell people the good news about next week's episode?
Oh no, man, that's not mine to share, dude. You did the legwork on it, man.
No. So with issue 4, and to let people know in advance, we're most likely going to be pushing back issue 4 to Saturday because my buddy here, he just got a new house, so he's going to be moving into it. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But with issue 4, besides doing the review, we are having no other than the creator himself, Scott Circlin, on the show.
Man, who better to talk to about a book than the creator of the book? Like, I'm so excited. And it's like somebody that means so much to our community. Like,
yeah, exactly.
One of my professors. So
one of our mentors.
I'm excited, man. So this will be fun to talk to and to be able to pick his brain for a few minutes. And it's just great that, because like now we're at like episode 11, and it's like bananas. And it's great that we're actually now getting like special guests, and why not? And why else have like one of the, like you say, one of the awesome people of our comic book indie community than someone like Scott Circlin. So yeah, man, it'll be awesome. But this chapter was really, really good. Just as a recap, I hate we didn't get to cover those first few pages together, but it's like this chapter was the meat in the sandwich. It's like you got good bond, lettuce and tomato, a little bit of cheese, and then you got the meat. Like that's what this chapter was. Like this brought it all together. So I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm excited to talk to you guys about what happens next. So just I don't know, man. Like it's so funny how much has changed about this show in 11 episodes and how far ago that was, but not really at all. So
yeah, right.
No, and now we got Scott Circling coming on our 12th episode. So that's pretty exciting. So you've done good. You've curated all of our episodes so far, and those have always been cool. So we appreciate that, man. It's just like I can't wait to see what we do next.
Yeah. So, agree. All right. Well, we're going to end it there, people. We appreciate everyone. Kamikaze, Salazar,
thanks,
Rick.
guys. I didn't get to check the chat because my phone is about dead. So
Frank, he shared it on what was it? He shared it on all of his platforms that he has. So appreciate that.
Man. That's awesome.
So,
appreciate it.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Take care, y'all.